Yo guys, welcome back to another PSGL video on my channel. And today we are Bahrain round 2. And this is following last week's race where I debuted in Brazil. I was coming into this race very confident. Coming from qualifying P16 in Brazil and still managing to take points away from it, it was very promising. And I do think that I can improve on that and keep some consistency in getting top 8 finishes every race. So right now you're seeing my first run in qualifying. It does say Q1 in the top left, but it is only short qualifying for every PSGL tier that isn't PCF1. So on my first run, we're getting it done quite nicely, which you couldn't say that about my runs in Brazil. So going a bit right there, not ideal, but first run, you can still improve. I just need to get a feel for the car and hope I can get that done for the next run. So coming around here, trying to get on top of the curve, we do so quite nicely, braking and getting on the power early. It's been a pretty decent lap. Like this lap, obviously not the best, definite time to be saved, but for a first run, it's been pretty solid. No snaps of oversteer, just nicely done, activating the DRS and going P9 on the banker lap, which is better than what I did for the last race. I didn't get very well on my banker, but as we're letting Neil through, starting the next lap, I probably could have had a bit of a better start to the lap here, because as you're about to see, I'm down on the delta quite significantly for being on the main straight. But get a bit of a slipstream from Neil and braking nicely into turn 1. Losing a bit, but then gaining a lot on the exit and gaining even more. We are now at 800th, running down into turn 4, braking nicely, getting it rotated, and we are up even more. A very nice exit. Nicely round here, staying under power. Lose a little bit, but then quite nicely round here. And we're up nearly 3/10 on my second run. Now this is where the time is to be gained. We get it nicely round turn 10. And we are now up 4/10, which being in P13 with the first lap, now being 4/10 up, it's looking very good. I think I'm a lot better over one lap in Bahrain than I am in Brazil. Brazil's just not one of my better tracks. But nicely on here, out with a lot of power. Foot to the floor, final push. Can we get it nicely around? We can. And we are gaining by just under 5/10 on the second lap, putting us in P5. We're looking good. We are looking good. As you can hear me say, we are looking good. And I didn't
P7.
show you,
there you go.
the last run because it was awful,
So
just
close.
as in Brazil. But as you can hear me say, the grid is so close. Like everyone is so close to each other. It's actually incredible. Now, as we move on to the race, you can see me going for a hard medium strategy. This, looking back on it, not sure it was the right strategy, but it's just what I know. It's just what I'm used to, so get a good start. We're right on to Julie. Going into turn 1, we back off a little bit because Caden's lagging. There's a bit of contact on our inside, and we don't get a good exit, so we have
Why
to
is everyone
concede.
lagging so much?
But then Julie lags back a little bit, so we have the chance to go round the outside. We go a bit deep, but manage to get the power down, and he backs out. And we manage to take P6 on lap 1. Very promising. But then you can see here, we go deep. We're not quite warmed up on the brakes yet. We just aren't quite that confident yet. So we are dropping back to Jamie. and the pack ahead as we go deep again compromises our exit, kind of falling out of the second range for DRS on lap 1 and falling back into Giuliano behind as he looks to overtake us again, as he has managed to pull 1.5 seconds on champ KVL behind. So maybe we can manage to get past and catch up to Jamie in the pack ahead as we cut onto lap 2. Brake a bit early just to be safe, nicely round, get a decent exit. As up ahead, Caden goes off. Not sure what was happening out there, I'm pretty sure Jamie just nudged him a bit, sent him wide. Manages to get himself back onto the track with no damage there. Still not in the second range, we are not catching. As of yet, we are not making up for that lost ground on lap 1 as we cut onto lap 3 with my amazing transition. And now it's fallen back to 1.9 behind. And now 2 cars behind me are in the DRS zone of me. I may have to cut that out. But I move over here and I let Giuliano past because as we're teammates and he's got the DRS, it was easy to just let him past. But he goes deep for whatever reason there. And I'm getting backed up into Champ behind. I get a run away from Champ behind. And then as we go into this corner, Giuliano has a massive snap and we look to go down the inside. And he doesn't concede the space, which I thought he would, and we spin as teammates down into P15 and 16. I really want some thoughts on that in the comments. I don't think that was my fault. I feel like because I let Giuliano go on the straight before, because he was quicker, I thought he would have conceded the position. And when I looked back, I thought
he was letting me go because he got the bad run.
As you can hear me say, I didn't think he'd stick his nose in and keep it there. Which, it's not ideal, but now we have to get back into a groove and see what we can salvage, if we can get any points from this race as Undead retires in the pit lane. And as Giuliano goes to get a new front wing, as Undead now leaves the session. Up ahead, Rain has a 3-second penalty as he runs wide. He runs deep. I'm not sure if he has damage at this point, but he's a lot slower than the pack he's trying to follow and a lot slower than me.
I actually hate that happened.
As you can hear me say, I'm still a lap or 2 later complaining to my mate in the Twitch chat about just that happening. I'm just disappointed, really. And since that crash, this is being recorded the day after, he hasn't submitted a steward inquiry. Like, he hasn't looked to try and get me a penalty.
Or me, because I was way alongside him.
That was it. Reen spins out.
Like,
but Giuliano hasn't submitted
because he
a request for a steward to look at it and give me a penalty. So I'm not sure if he's accepting blame for that, but I did DM him after the race. We've never spoke before, which you'd think we would have because we're teammates. But I DM'd him after the race to apologise for that it happened, and he just hit me. He did not respond. So I think he's still a bit pissed. As we now see over half the grid of box from the mediums onto some new hards to try and take them to the end of the race, which puts us from P15 up to P5. But it's still far too early for us to box, so we don't think anything of it. We just need to hope that there's maybe 1 or 2 more safety cars to bring us back into it. As we now move to the safety car coming in, as we are trying to warm up our tyres, and I kind of miss them going. Like, I was a bit distracted, but then managed to get a good exit on Venge as we immediately open the overtake and try and look to gain a position, but he's also opening overtake and we don't have the straight line speed to get past him. As up ahead, Zach goes for a move as we just sit behind and wait to see if we can pick up any scraps, is Jamie and Zach. And now Venge are now all in a tussle, as we now, from P5, have Tomo behind. We have Josh behind, pushing on new hards, so he should not have as much grip as he does. So he's already giving us pressure. I think I've spun here, so I back out, and then Champ also on fresh mediums, making moves, and now Leo also making moves on us. We just don't have the grip on this restart. And it doesn't help that I'm being cautious on every corner, which is just backing me up into other cars. So this is something I need to learn from this race, is that I need to stop backing off and just go for moves, because everyone else does that, and they
These
always
tyres
just
got nothing. And they're on the new hards as well.
as Jamie's saying, just a bit confused as to how I'm losing so many places, considering I'm on the cards that should be up to date.
Just getting bullied.
But as I was saying, I need to learn to be a lot more aggressive, because I am not aggressive enough. Like, I just need to just send it, and then they need to leave me the space, because I'm not confident to make an overtake. As Powsy completely
That
outbrakes
is a
himself,
murder and a half.
and he's taken out Avenge
Not just
in,
on me, but
in a scene you
someone
would
just
see in an
killed.
open lobby. Like, I'm not sure what he was doing,
What
but
is happening, man? Come
like,
on.
like everyone's just struggling. Powsy just for no reason misses his braking zone, and luckily 2 people ghosted
See our box
in that situation. But someone didn't, and he just went across the corner and took out Avenge. As you hear me discussing that if I should box for mediums, and we do decide to box to try and take them to the end of the race. So nicely into the box. You see ahead that Neil is low on battery, but doesn't mean anything, as we're into the box. Nice pit stop, 2.2 seconds, and we're out onto fresh mediums. And as you can see, my front tyres are not warmed up, and I'm not weaving nearly enough. I get a bad safety car restart, and I just get caught out a little bit, but no harm to my position, because Zach behind us also didn't get a great start, about the same as me. So we're keeping the same gap, but brake early again, backing me up into Zach. Don't get a good exit at all, neither does Linus. Try and get a good exit, but I've got Zach all behind me. He's looking to make a move here, and he does go for it. I leave him the space, but I go a bit deep in doing so. So he goes past. P12 now. Seeing to see if I can make a move here. He gets a bit of a snap, but probably should have tried to go for a move
This
there as we
smoke
give
is
him a little
outrageous.
tap. You hear me saying that the smoke is
So
outrageous.
blinding.
Because the smoke from when people lock up their tyres is just too blinding. Like, it's very off-putting. As we now see a 4-way battle. 2 cars side by side. Zach is going to look to make
everyone
it
involved.
3 wide going into turn 1, and he dives up the inside. I lock up, don't capitalise on anything, which just backs me up even more. Like, that's a story in this race. It's just that I keep backing myself up or getting backed up. As I now look to overtake Jamie on the outside, because he is on old hards from the start of the race. But I should have went for it there, but I just back out. I'm not
Probably should have sent that.
not confident at all, and even again, I probably should have put my nose in. But I just don't want to. Like, I don't trust these people to let me overtake them. Even here, I'm just backing off and trying to leave him space, which I do. We do leave space, and then I finally get past him. But even then, like, it's just... I'm speaking more about the end of the race, why I'm, like, cautious to overtake. Because you'll see, this was not a very clean race by anyone. So you'll see what I mean more towards the end, but we now look to get a better exit than Linus. We open the overtake and open the DRS, and we're just seeing if we can maybe overtake Damon here because he's a lot slower. But I decide to sit back again. I'm just not wanting to overtake people, which is something I really need to start doing because I'm not going to get anywhere in races or in the championship if I don't just overtake people. But then I look for an overtake round the outside here on Linus, and we do. So we finally make up a position after a while into P9 now. So we are looking on to get points, as we should have properly sent it down the inside. But I just don't feel like it. I don't have confidence still. Maybe it's because of what happened on lap 3. But we lock up here, managed to hold the position. But I don't think I'm that confident in making overtakes just because of what happened on lap 4 with our teammate. That's really sitting in the back of my mind throughout this whole race. And I wasn't focused for a lot of this, which is really bad. I need to start focusing more. But we're looking to see if we can get a better exit than Damon here. We don't, it's about the same, but we activate the overtake, and then I deactivate it because there's no point going for a move here. It's just not a place you want to go for an overtake, as we clatter the inside curb, and it compromises our exit, as Lucas box in. And now as we look to keep making moves and see what happens, we're P8 now, and if there's no safety car, then we're looking promising for some points here, after an abysmal start. But, you know, slowly but surely, getting back into it, as Damon has a poor exit, and we look to activate DRS and overtake, but we can't, and then I accidentally cut off my teammate again. I didn't know he was there, but he goes wide, so we don't have another part to the lap 4 incident, as Bath Destroyer goes off, and as we lock up and get a warning. Not ideal, but it is only our first warning, so still plenty of time to not get warnings as we lock up and have a bit of a shaky back end. And now it looks like Giuliano's going to get us past. I lift off completely to let him past, but he doesn't try and move over to take the best line, so his exit was a bit poor. But moving on to the next lap, he's got a pretty nice double overtake there on Bath and Damon as they're squabbling, and we look to see if we can overtake Bath now.
He is light forward, that's not.
But as we see him lag forward a bit, so I'm hesitant again to go for the overtake, but he leaves us plenty of space, so I decide to go for it, as he goes a bit wide there, and we are now up into P8 again, after conceding to Giuliano. Now we're looking for a move on Damon here, and we do go for it. One of the first times I've done that, and we make the move stick, for now anyway, and we get a pretty nice exit, but now Damon's got the DRS, so I'm looking to defend from him. He doesn't make the move, we stick to a defensive line, lock up a little bit, don't get through there as nicely as I'd want to, but it's okay, because moving later on, especially the race, we lock up again, I get another warning, just from locking up. That's 2 now. But so that means we lose the place to Damon. Now these tyres start to fall off because these are now 11 laps old and I need to make them last 8 more. But nothing really changes, we just lose a lot of time to Damon and to Linus behind. He's now closed in on us. So we're looking to defend her again. I'm not sure if I actually let him through here. No, I didn't. But didn't make it easy. Had to just keep it in his mind that I was there. But now seeing if I can get a good exit, but we don't. Just falling further and further behind as time goes on. But still in the points. So that's all I'm looking for here. Moving on to the next lap, I use the overtake, and we start to yo-yo about for a few laps to see if we can catch Damon ahead, which You know, it depends if whoever gets a bad exit on the run down to turn 4, because it might just be worth going for an overtake rather than sticking behind. But none of us really had that. So until lap 25, Linus still behind us, Damon's still ahead of us. As Linus is going to make another move. We don't use overtake, we just let him go. Which is fair enough, because I'm not trying to lose more time than I need to. So we don't get a better exit going out. So just going to stick behind and hoping we can stay up, see how much we can catch to Damon. Which I don't think it's a lot, I think we're like 1.5 seconds behind right now. Get a poor exit. But now you'll see it in a minute. What changes this race completely. So what was looking like a comfortable P8 or P7 is now a very uncomfortable moment as the safety car comes out because Jamie
I want
crashes on
softs, I
the
need to get
tyres.
off these tyres, but I really need to see what behind us, but I can't do that because I'm in front of them.
As you can hear me waffle, that I want to go onto the softs, and I do end up boxing onto the softs because I felt like I had the pace.
Or I'm battling people on old hards. I can do that on softs. I can do that on softs.
As you hear me
Oh, but it doesn't matter if they're used.
staking
They're
my
only
claim
4%
to
maybe.
my engineer. But I'm going to box for the softs because from what it looks like, I'm only going to drop 4 positions if none of them behind box. And I feel like I could get that if I'm battling them on old tyres compared to 4% wear softs. And I only lose 2 positions as 2 people in front of us box and 2 people behind us box. So 2 of them go through, we're now in P10. And now you'd think that this is going to go well for me because I'm on the new tyres. You can also see Josh Tomo ahead. He was in the lead of the race, I'm pretty sure. Then he boxed the new softs. And I just don't get a good exit, and nothing really goes well in this lap. Like, I'm on the new tyres. I should be a lot more like confident and punchy, going for more moves. But I'm just slow. I've got no exit speed. They're all in a tussle up ahead. I should have been a part of that.
These crashes up ahead.
As you hear me say, any crashes up ahead because I'm not catching, as there's damage and stuff happening. But this is not ideal because this backs us up into Powdy behind, who looks to make a move, but he backs off it. Now Rudy here is on old hards. Damon spins and I make the move, but so does Powdy. He makes it 3 wide, which really compromised me and my overtake on Rudy. And you'll see now behind, Lucas hits into the back of me and it gives me a 3-second penalty from going off track. Now, I didn't know after this race I had to take screenshots of my race director to get a penalty removed. So I put in an inquiry, but I don't think anything's going to come of it. As I don't think he's going to leave me space, so I get another warning. So
What are you doing?
I'm not sure why I'm complaining that too much. He is trying to fight for points still.
Man.
Like, there was nothing wrong with that. I'm just stressed because I'm not making the moves I need to be making on the new softs compared to everyone on the old hards. As I activate ERS and nothing is happening. I'm barely gaining. But I managed to get past and then have to defend from Powdy, but he sticks it around the outside and just is annoying here. Like, I don't need this to be happening to me. Like, I don't need the fights. But you'll see in a minute that behind Powdy and Rudy crash, which is incredible.
No,
as it really helps my 3 seconds. Because I would only lose 1 position and still get points if it stayed as it was. Trying to see if we can win any positions, but as we probably should send it, but I just... Look, there's always the benefit of hindsight here. Because throughout this race, I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. But I was not aggressive enough, and the one time I was...
Christ,
I
what
was
are you
blocked
doing?
off and just completely shut the door on me, even though I was clearly there. So that's what I mean. Like if I make moves even earlier in the race, that's just gonna happen, and I won't gain anything from it. And if you look in the minimap, Josh Tomo, who boxed for softs with me, is now battling for the lead, and he has now won the race from 8th 2 laps ago on soft tyres, which is kind of what I was hoping to happen, but I just wasn't aggressive enough. Like, I should have maybe finished P6, P5 after the safety car restart, but I just wasn't confident. As you see the confirmation there, we finished P10,
What
and
a
I
race, man.
don't think the
That was
penalty is
bad,
going to get
man.
removed, which is a shame. But the fact I managed to get points after the spin on lap 4, I'll completely take that. Like, none of that race was good. I wasn't having fun
What a stupid
in a
race.
lot of that race. But yeah, that's
Everyone is
about it.
kicking off in the Discord.
Everyone is just kicking off in the Discord, and
Included.
I'll see you next week for PSGL round 3, which I believe is at Grey Brain. See ya.